Welcome to the second viewing where love wins every time. I'm Dan.
I'm Kyle.
Shaka bra.
Welcome to the April Fooling where we fool you every time. I'm Kyle.
I'm Dan.
Shaka bra.
This week on the cast, the joke's on you because we've got Paul Blart Mall Cop for you, not 12 Years a Slave. Fuck that movie. Paul Blart on another level.
Another level to the extreme, because not only is this Paul Blart Mall Cop, but this is Paul Blart Mall Cop 2. The sequel, the 2015 release, straight out of the gutter.
But it should have been straight out of Compton because this movie is straight up badass.
Yeah, that's... All jokes aside, drinking past the wine, honestly, it's going to be one of those casts.
Yeah, before this one, we're going to have to do a little tribute to...
pretty much any other movie that's ever existed.
We're sorry to shame you like this. Honestly, 12 Years a Slave is a great flick.
Seriously, go watch it. Steve McQueen, great guy. Michael Fassbender, great guy.
We wish at this point, after pranking you... You know, it's just a prank, bro. Well, we wish at this point, after pranking you, that we could have returned to 12 Years a Slave. But the fact of the matter is we got to stick to our guns and do Paul Blart Mall Cop 2. So,
is it wrong to say that I was more depressed watching Paul Blart Mall Cop 2 than I was watching 12 Years a Slave?
No, I think that's completely accurate. Actually, I think that's probably where we should start off, Kyle. What was the most depressing part of this film for you?
Maybe the first 3 minutes, roughly.
I was gonna say all 97 minutes of this movie.
This is an interesting film to choose, I think, overall. Only because this is probably the first generally bad movie we've done on the cast here. This movie opens up with a flashback. There's almost no context.
Flashback to the first movie.
It's not even the first movie. It's just like what happens right after the first movie.
Oh, really? That first part wasn't in the first movie?
Okay, well, side story, I actually wouldn't know because Paul Blart Mall Cop 1 is the only movie I've ever walked out of the theater because I couldn't stand it. First, half an hour was all I got through. That was about it. But this one, in particular, is interesting. I mean, I don't really understand why they made another one roughly, 6 years later? I mean, sure. Let's give Kevin James another...
Really 6 years later, dude?
It was 6 years later, yeah. Let's give Kevin James another movie.
Was there anyone that was anticipating the release of this film? Well, according to fucking sales, there is, because this movie grossed $70 million, costing $30 and bringing in $100.
Dude, that's that Adam Sandler money right there. That's a Happy Madison production right there.
That's 100% true.
What do you expect? Dude? You're rocking in that Sandler money, you're going to get at least $70 million off a movie.
Oh, dude, but I bet you what happened was... this 70 mil that came from this movie is going to go towards Jack and Jill, the sequel.
Potentially. I mean, this movie reminds me of Jack and Jill a lot. Not going to lie. Even just the way it looks. The way it,
Have you ever watched a franchise and realized that jokes have been recycled from the first movie to the second movie to the third movie? What's better yet, have you ever watched a movie made in the same production studio and watched the jokes being recycled from movie to movie, different title to different title? That's Happy Madison, and this is Paul Blart Mall Cop 2.
That's there's nothing more accurate than that. We touched upon this in the Funny People episode. All 12 of you that watched it. And essentially, it's kind of funny how these guys operate. They just like to go on trips via their movies. So they just went to Vegas and shot this movie, basically, is what happened.
Yeah, 100%.
It cost them $30 million. That's a big budget, roughly.
So
but for a comedy of this size, that's a very small budget.
So they made a movie so they could have another vacation and make another Jack and Jill, to have another vacation, to make another Paul Blart, to have another vacation. It's kind of an endless cycle of basically these guys are just on vacation. And I also just want to say thanks to those 12 viewers that did check out Funny People. We really appreciate your support. We know that's a great and underrated movie, and we appreciate you checking out the cast on that.
Mad love. Maybe enough negativity on Paul Blart Mall Cop 2. Dan, give me, what were the high points for this movie?
There was some great cheesy
Give
lines.
Me what was the best parts for you watching this masterpiece?
Best parts of this movie was his daughter secretly being a 40-year-old woman.
Right.
Oh man, I think maybe the car battery scene. She happens to cell phone battery. Sorry, my bad. Car battery, a little big to carry around.
She always has to have a spare cell phone battery.
So Paul Blart has recommended his daughter carries around pocket flares, pocket knives, pepper spray, extra cell phone battery, walkie-talkie. tampons.
I mean, as one does.
Actually, she's through menopause now because she's 40, so not a big deal for
Right.
that.
She's
so,
good on that one.
Yeah, and the transition
They leave
between
that
the first
out of
and the
this.
second film. Yeah, they.
I think in the director's cut, you actually get that scene, but in this part of the film, it's gone.
Right,
The
because she turned
theatrical
40,
version
yeah.
didn't need it. It's a PG film, and those Americans they're pretty stuck up about that kind of stuff.
True story. Well, anyways, what I was saying is my favorite scene, definitely when his 40-year-old daughter grabs the cell phone battery out of her survival fanny pack, located God knows where because she's never holding a bag, a backpack, or a pants with fucking pockets. So God knows where she pulls this battery out of. Probably her very fair-sized butthole. And she finds some fucking copper wire and manages to disarm some kind of electronic lock.
And she gets it out of there pretty quick. She rescues Justin Rousseau from the Wizards of Waverly Place pretty quick there.
Great, dude.
Is that
Honestly,
Rousseau?
but the thing about this scene, Kyle, is it's completely useless because it's 4 to 5 minutes of
really?
basically unlocking the door and deciding they're not going to go through that door, and then we never hear about the door again, and it's kind of never really an issue.
I hate to rain on your
kinda
parade,
like-
but almost every scene in this movie is pretty much useless. None of it makes any sense.
That's 100%.
The only scene, one of my favorite scenes in this movie.
What's that?
The first ostrich fight, actually.
Oh.
best scene in the film. Paul Blart gets in a fight with a CGI ostrich, naturally as one does.
Yeah.
While a nice piano ballad plays over top. Now,
Beautiful ballad, though.
Now, on first glance, you might think, "Oh, that's a bit of a stupid scene." But flash forward a good 20 minutes, and this movie felt like 5 hours. But yeah, flash forward about 20 minutes, and you see the same ostrich actually kind of save the day.
Oh, man,
How about the Blartinator?
Okay, he helps out the Blartinator so good, dude.
Blart and jelly everywhere, dude.
Dude,
Hey?
honestly, if this movie is lacking one thing, it's J, because Paul Blart is PB, but the ostrich becomes J, dude. You know
Yeah.
what? If fucking PB and J reunited at last,
It's
it's a beautiful combination.
I don't really understand the need for a sequel of this kind. Like why?
The fact that this movie was ever made is actually baffling.
I mean, I guess it doesn't. I guess I can't be that shocked considering how much money it actually made. Like there was an audience for this. Although I will admit, I remember when the first movie came out, people did like it. It was a thing.
People liked the first movie?
Definitely, I remember it being like a movie people genuinely enjoyed.
Wow. Are you fucking serious?
I kind of wish I was kidding, but like, totally, dude. It was a popular film.
I'm
It
just
definitely
gonna
was.
do a quick fact check while we continue talking
You're
about
just gonna
this movie.
you're
and
gonna do a fact check to see if people actually enjoyed it.
just to compare the ratings from number one to
you
number
get back
two.
to me on that fact check and we'll
Give it a
compare.
quick okay, actually, yeah, it turns out about 25% more people liked Paul Blart Mall Cop 1
Well, I mean,
in comparison to number 2.
I don't think you can even compare the two because two's
I
actually
mean-
a much. It's a different caliber of film. You got your Citizen Kanes, you got your Shawshank Redemptions, you got your Paul Blart Mall Cop 2s. They're in the same. Paul Blart Mall Cop 1 just doesn't quite meet that category. You understand?
I feel you.
Have you seen the first film? You seen Paul Blart Mall Cop 1?
Oh, I've attempted several times, yeah.
You've gone
I've
into
attempted,
it.
yeah. I remember very little.
I just remember the first, roughly 20 minutes. Segway scenes, I don't know. I think I may have saw it on TV briefly. Like it was on channel one day. Didn't actually watch it, but it was around. While we were getting ready for the cast here, Drew remembered most of the film than any of us did, really. He was ready to go for that. So a big shocker about Drew right there.
Yeah, big shock about it, Drew. Honestly, Drew, we're going to have to get you in on the next cast where we cover Paul Blart Mall Cop 1 in tribute to number 2.
Yeah, that's
it
gonna
being
happen.
the fantastic film it is.
I think...
Well, around this time next year, I'm sure we'll be covering this movie again.
I think overall, this was one of those movies where you sit down, you kind of want to like maybe have some goofs and gaffs with a friend. You're like, oh, this movie's probably gonna be silly. Let's make fun of it maybe. Let's not take it too seriously. But you see, the weird thing about Paul Blart Mall Cop 2 is it kind of puts you in, I feel if someone were to overdose on ketamine, Similar vibe to watching Paul Blart Mall Cop 2. You get put in that K-hole where you just feel like you can't get out.
That being hard, it's kind of hard to... It's difficult to distinguish if we actually were ODing on ketamine or did we actually watch this fucking movie. I'm not 100% sure,
We will
Kyle.
get back to you on that.
We'll come back to that answer. In the meantime, I just want to talk about Kevin James' performance in this film movie. You can't really call it a film, Kyle. Let's get real. It's a fucking movie at best.
Whoa. Are we categorizing things as movies and films now?
Well,
Is this the movie that breaks the barrier?
Wow.
Or doesn't break it, or hits the screen and falls?
Honestly, it's not on a Deadpool vibe. It broke not
not
at
on a
all the
Deadpool
fourth
vibe.
wall. But
Real quick, better film, Deadpool or Paul Blart Mall Cop 2?
tied, dude. Honestly,
Oh
tied.
my god. Whoa, you hate Deadpool more than I realized.
Dude,
I've
Raini
been to it.
Rodriguez, though, fucking finest 40-year-old I've ever seen in my life, dude.
How old is she actually? She's like 22, isn't she?
No, I think she's like 47. I was being generous, to be fair. But anyways, let's continue on to some more really highlights of this film, Kyle. I mean, every element of the story was given away in plain detail.
It's hard to really even like pick one. There's so many good choices.
And the minute that there is a fucking showcase of non-lethal weapons at the hotel Paul Blart's
Beautiful.
at, you know that he's going to show up and arm himself and use those. It's like instantaneously.
Also, this movie almost makes no sense right off the get-go. Just based on he gets a letter in the mail to go to some convention that we have no context or any information about.
It's funny because the last movie set him up with some kind of a life. A wife, living with his mom still, right? He's got a daughter. He's a family guy. He's settling down. Everything's good. He's happy now. Then at the beginning of this movie, completely wiped away. We find out that within 6 days of marrying his wife, she files for divorce. His mom fucking dies. And then all of a sudden a letter comes in the mail that says, hey, can you please speak at this bullshit conference in Las Vegas about mall cops, please. Turns out he's not actually a speaker. Which he ends up being a speaker, which is obvious, but it's... I mean, I don't want to give away the film for you guys, but...
Oh, yeah, sorry, no spoilers here.
Yeah, no spoilers for you guys.
This is a spoiler-free cast.
Honestly, like, the first 10 minutes gives away the whole movie, so...
Honestly, yeah, if you could actually find the first 10 minutes online for free. Just Google it, you'll see it, honestly.
Yeah.
It's actually one of the first films to become public domain in less than a year, because it's one of those things everyone needs to see.
100%.
You got your King Kongs, you got your Planet 9 from Outer Space, you got your Paul Blart Mall Cop 2.
100%, dude.
Yeah, you're right, man. You kind of do get a sense for this whole film right away, and I think that's what's really great about it. You get an idea of what you're looking forward to. Not only do you get to see the first 10 minutes of the movie, but you get to see the last 10 minutes too, right off the bat. It's a win-win situation.
Dude, this movie is just... It's utterly fantastic. It's beautiful. It's a work of art in its own way. It takes obvious to undeniable mystery level, if you know what I'm saying.
I see what you're saying.
It's so obvious. It's mysterious why the movie was ever made. That's my vibe. This movie is utterly fantastic. I was on that dope titty vibe all night just so that I could watch this flick.
I was with you on that one, man, and I'm just taking a quick look here at the director of this great film, our boy Andy Fickman. He's done some great things in the past. Reefer Madness, the movie musical. The Game Plan, which, man, if we get to that movie one of these days, that's a good one with my boy Dwayne The Rock Johnson.
Dwayne
Race to Witch Mountain. Parental Guidance, which... Again, great flick.
Which one is Parental Guidance again?
Oh, man, Parental Guidance is a great movie with Billy Crystal and Bette Midler, where they have to take care of their grandkids in a zany holiday setting. And
No, are you serious, dude? Zany holiday setting?
Things get pretty nutty, but one thing that really throws me off, though, is this guy directed She's the Man.
Wow.
Which is actually a good movie.
Oh, great flick. Honestly, you haven't watched it in 10 years?
I've seen it. I saw it not like 5 years.
I'm starting to doubt the quality of this film, Kyle.
Yeah.
We might have to take a second viewing on this one, or in our case, probably a 10th or 11th. But we might have to take that 12th viewing just to double check that it holds up to the standard, especially in this day and age.
You guys, this is the kind of guy that really knows what he's doing. He really knows what he's doing. He's out there supporting the arts, putting in what matters to the community, by producing a great film like Paul Blart Mall Cop 2, dude. You go out there.
He caters to his fans 100%.
Are you kidding me? Honestly, I think the state of Nevada should really... actually, speaking of Nevada, this was the first film to receive the state of Nevada's new film tax credit.
No
In
way.
which they got, I assume, probably all $30 million for this.
Oh my God.
So this is probably a write-off. This is the kind of thing that paid for Adam Sandler's new condo in, like, I don't know, probably
his 13th
Nantucket.
condo.
I don't know.
Dude, this probably paid for just like a fucking pair of shoes he wanted really bad, you know?
Do you think Kevin
What's
James...
the vibe Adam Sandler's on, dude? He wants a new pair of shoes, dude. He makes fucking Paul Blart Mall Cop 2 or makes it happen.
Now, here's a good question for you, man. Do you think we're looking for a part 3? Because this movie kind of... we kind of get set up for something here.
You know what? Before I answer that question, can we get another shot of wine around this corner, dude? Because I'm just not sure I'm prepared to talk about the up and coming.
I've dreaded a sequel to Paul Blart Mall Cop for years.
I've dreaded it not coming out.
I've joked about it, and then when this film got announced in like 2014, my mind was blown, straight blown. There's few movies out there that I think are genuinely, what's the word? Like gut wrenching. You know, you got your
gut aching.
Yeah, you know, you got your
rectum destroying.
Totally, dude. Like, American History X? No, you got Paul Blart Mall Cop 2. That's what you got.
That's what you got. On that note, folks, let's just bring up the fact that Raini, our 40-year-old daughter in this movie, is brother to one of our favorite Spanish actors in Modern Family.
Are you serious, dude?
Yeah.
That's his sister, like Manny's sister in Modern Family? No way.
Dude, fam.
Are you serious right now?
100%. We could get a quick fact check on that, but pretty positive.
Wow. You're on that accurate vibe.
Oh, dude, yeah.
That actually blows my mind. I like that dude. Rico, dude?
Rico Suave. That's my man, dude.
That's a pretty cool guy. Honestly, I would say he's doing much better than his sister currently. Killing it on a primetime television show that has won many Emmys. Meanwhile...
he kills it on Modern Family.
Meanwhile, his older sister, obviously much older sister...
very much older.
Starring in Paul Blart Mall Cop 1, Paul Blart Mall Cop 2, The Sweet Life of Zack and Cody, and some other Disney shit I don't know.
Oh, dude. Raini Rodriguez, dude. Honestly, every time she goes outside, you know what it is? Rainy. Because this chick brings a storm to the fucking parade, man. She rains shit on movies she's in. I'm sorry for that. I was being clearly sarcastic. She's absolutely fantastic in this movie, and I hope...
In all honesty, she's probably the better parts of the film.
It's true, she's 100%. Actually, you know what? My boy Kevin James really holds it together. Some of those reused jokes from the last movie, fantastic.
I don't... Like, here's my thing with this movie, or like, I mean, maybe in other like Adam Sandler movies or whatever, they always try like this self-deprecating humor in a really weird way. It's always like, oh, us Blarts are real fat. We're fat and useless. Oh, my mom's dead. Like, that's not funny.
It's just...
you know what I mean? It's like trying to go overboard for the sake of going overboard.
Yeah, but the thing is like, everyone knows from the get-go this movie's already overboard, so trying to push someone that's already overboard is kind of like...
I don't think people know that. People actually watch this shit willingly. We sat down to watch this, and it was a struggle.
It was a goof and a gaff. It was a
straight struggle.
Actually,
honestly, if I didn't have my vape on me, and if I wasn't vaping the whole time, I don't know what I would have done.
Shout out to my boys at Vape Nation, dude. Keep it together.
Yeah,
keep blowing those fat clouds. Yeah, respect the Vape Nation.
Vape activists everywhere. Keep vaping in the free world. Let's just keep it going. Vape Nation, everyone.
All right.
Anyways.
Respect. So, but yeah, I think
Athabasca Basin Development, keep vaping.
Athabasca Basin Development.
Keep
vapes hard.
They roll the fattest vapes, dude.
Guys, let's go ahead and get a hashtag started. You know what? Vape Nation TSV. Let's get it going.
Please get it going. We want to spread the love and joy of the Vape Nation. You know what? Just respect that real quick. Keep vaping in the free world and do your thing.
We're talking about the fact that, well, I was
do you
about
think
to
Paul
bring
Blart
up
vapes, dude?
Oh, PB definitely vapes.
I could
but
see
behind
him-
the scenes, dude, because the guy's a badass. He's a rogue warrior. Remember this.
I don't know. I think he'd be the kind of guy to have a vape stashed in his Segway.
Well, guys, I think that's probably a good time to take a break. When we return, we're going to finish up our thoughts on Paul Blart Mall Cop 2. I mean, there's a lot to talk about here, but I think it's best to keep it short and sweet.
We're just getting started, so sit tight, stay tuned, and we'll catch you in a minute.
Shaka breezy, shaka bra.
Catch you after the breaker.
And we're back and fully torqued and talking about Paul Blart Mall Cop 2, guys. Let's get excited because on the second half of the cast, we're talking a little bit more of the nitty gritty. We're talking a little bit about the opposing forces here. You know, what's the climax, the resolution? Like, where's the high point of this film for you, Kyle? Where's the build up?
Yeah, deep right now.
I want to talk a little bit more about the story. I mean, we've complained about it a lot, but let's talk about the build up.
Have we complained? I don't think we've complained enough.
Okay, we've been fairly accurate.
Honestly, I'm about to call Spotlight right now. Get an investigation going on so we can dig some dirt on Paul Blart Mall Cop 2. Shout out to Spotlight, great film. So, anyways, also speaking of great films, breaking down Paul Blart Mall Cop 2, story-wise, man, we have a...
Wow, dude, unreal, you know?
Can we... Like, we mentioned this earlier, based on how the movie just gets you right in the action.
Oh, man,
it doesn't waste
right
a
into
second.
the milk truck.
It doesn't waste a second to get you set up. Not only do we find out that Paul Blart gets to go to Vegas to
Vegas.
kind of, you know,
Vegas with his
rock the
40-year-old
Casbah a
daughter.
bit, if you will.
She's kind of like a Benjamin Button of her daughter, really.
Yeah, you know, she's the kind of vibe, and like, when Paul Blart Mall Cop, like, 5 or 6 comes out, she might look like 12. You know, she got the Benjamin Button.
Exactly.
She de-ages.
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
That
exactly.
makes sense?
Yeah. She'll get younger as time goes on.
Yeah, she's, you know, she's one of that vibe. But not only does he get to go to Vegas, she
Also gets to
finds
go to
out
Vegas.
that she got into UCLA.
Oh, that's right, UCLA, dude.
So that's a college in the States that I know nothing about, but I understand that it's a good vibe, and she is excited to go because she was told she could only go to community college because apparently that's the vibe.
Dude, that's where the Blarts go, you know?
Well, you know, Blarts go there, man. That's, you got your UCLAs, you got your Blarts, and they usually don't go hand in hand.
Dude, but this time around, this rare shooting star of a moment, we get Raini, our 40-year-old daughter, who's already been to college about 6 times, finally got into UCLA, got out of that college.
Third time's a charm.
Community
Basically
college.
4, though.
100%. Anyways, let's talk about that interaction, though, because at the same moment that Paul Blart gets a great piece of mail that, you know, he gets to go to Vegas with his daughter and he's potentially a guest speaker or whatever, he's at some mall cop convention kind of thing, so does his 40-year-old daughter finds out that she's accepted into UCLA, which she never expected. So they go to share the good news. Now, Blart talks first, as Blarts usually do.
It's a Blart on Blart situation.
It's a Blart on Blart situation where basically the Blart wins every time. And in this situation, Blart fucking wins, dude. This is what he says. Hey, yo, we're going to Vegas. Dope titty vibe overall. Where the 40-year-old daughter says she holds back her secret. She starts talking about those leftovers in the fridge instead. They get fucking excited, dude. They start getting rowdy. Next thing you know, we're in Vegas. The plotline begins.
Flash forward. We're in Vegas, where honestly, you know, is the best policy. But not only that, you're rocking a Vegas vibe. What happens there stays there, dude. So
100%. So he goes back a
that's
loser,
almost
but he's
enough
a
said.
winner in Vegas.
It's almost an upset situation. But we kind of get some interesting conflict going on here because
we do, yeah.
The
we
daughter
absolutely
doesn't want to tell her dad that she got into college based on the fact that he is just he needs someone right now. He's lonely.
He's lonely. He needs someone in his life right now.
There's some bad things going on in his life. This movie is
amazing.
It does a great job of making you feel, dude.
Dude, it really makes you feel.
It really makes you feel. It tells you right from the beginning, you know, what you should expect.
Yeah.
What you should do. And
every detail of the movie that you're about to watch.
It's a great thing, you know. I think children will especially enjoy this because they literally get force-fed what happens. So much how their parents feed them on a daily basis. This movie just shoves it in your face, whether you want it or not.
It shits the plot line in your mouth, really.
Yeah, you know, it's a poopception vibe.
Yeah, it's a bit of a poopception, but there's no twists. So this is what happens, kids, because tricks are for kids and twists are for Paul Blart Mall Cop 2 fans. And this is what really goes down. We show up in Vegas. We got a fancy Vegas hotel. We got some partial fake love interest that never works out, and it's kind of stupid. And I guess that's the twist, but it doesn't really make sense.
I don't know,
stupid.
man. That's pretty warped. That's beyond.
It's a little
twisted.
warped, man. They took it a little.
Oh gosh, man! Whoa! Breaking news: our boy Andy Fickman, the director,
Oh yeah.
he's actually M. Night Shyamalan this whole time. This movie was directed by M. Night Shyamalan.
Holy shit, dude.
This is a film that not only has twists and turns, but it has sick red burns, because you get a lot of times here where Paul Blart's trying to make a joke.
Dude, I just remembered all the ladies I saw in the water this time.
Honestly, I'm just going to pretend you never said that, and we're going to move past that. Speaking about moving past, thoughts on the segue? That seems to be a big...
That's a huge theme in this movie, dude.
Film.
It was actually a huge theme in the first movie, too. Actually, it took about 3/4 of the first film. So when they brought it back this time with about a 74% vibe, I was a little surprised, expecting that extra 1%, dude. Expecting for that to really ride home and drive home in this movie. And it did. But to a lesser extent, they squeezed in that 1%,
right.
Left a little bit of extra room for that story, that dialogue, that, they really squeezed the most that they could out of this movie, man. They're like, honestly, dude...
They went home. They went home and they said to themselves, how can we make this film better than it already is? And they said to themselves, more segues. Now we get an introduction of the torque segue. This is the
fully fucking torqued segue.
Now, you can't get more fully torqued than this segue. This is the segue that not only gives you a half torque, but gives you a full torque.
Dude, it's got multiple settings, like half, small, medium, large, and fully torqued.
Fun fact, only time I've ever seen someone use a Segway was actually, rest his soul, Patrick Swayze in West Edmonton Mall. He was shooting a Christmas film with Carmen Electra. It's actually a fun fact. This actually happened. I'm not kidding. Just a quick fun fact, quick FF for y'all out there. Interesting thing going on in Paul Blart Mall Cop 2, of course, is the Segway. Of course, is his gizmos and gadgets. I'm starting to think Paul Blart's kind of the new, maybe modern day James Bond.
A little bit, man. Absolutely. Well, I mean, we all witnessed the scene with his vibrating fork in the beginning.
Right. Honestly, great gadget. Great gizmo.
Great gizmo, great gadget. Also, it shared such a fantastic role in that dinner conversation that we knew was going to resurface later in the film. And it did successfully when Paul Blart just went swimming with a bad guy. There was no sexual tension there, but they became in a fierce battle. And Paul Blart happened to build a bow and arrow, found an electrical cord, hooked it up to his fork, and electrocuted a guy with his fork somehow. It was a great vibe overall. It was a fantastic use of the tools around him without even really needing that stock-up room of already pre-built, non-lethal supplies that he eventually had access to.
This movie has layers, man. Call this Shrek 5, if you will.
Oh, I was just about to say, thank God, Shrek in 4D, one of my favorite movies of all time.
We're not only... This is non-stop action. What happens? You get Paul Blart shooting vibrating forks. Next thing you know, he's on stage just performing his ass off. Next thing you know, he's hiding in suitcases. He's getting shot at. He's dodging bullets.
Sliding behind barriers.
He's the new David Blaine. He's escaping out of water.
Fighting ostriches. Firing he's grappling guns, dude.
Would you say he's the new Jason Bourne? Because I'm starting to think he's the new Jason Bourne.
Dude, honestly, if this was Jason Bourne, done a million times better. Honestly, shaky cam, a little bit overrated. In this film, it's like smooth transition all the way through. You really get a sense of what's going on,
I'll give you the ultimatum on this one. And overall, not only do we get to see him as a family man, staying true to his character, just looking out for, the people that mean most to him, but we get to see him as a badass, an action star, taking 100%. The range of everything that's sent to him. And, making the best of it. He's a MacGyver, and he's a true MacGuffin of this film.
100%. Call him Liam Neeson. This is Taken again. I mean, let me give you the supremacy on this one, Kyle. Let's talk about some of the opposing forces in this movie. I mean, the bad guys in this film are very blatantly obvious to the viewer, but especially to Paul Blart. At least not in the beginning, because he is PB. And without his J... what really is he, Kyle?
Nothing left. Honestly, we get a great performance by our boy Neil McDonough, and he plays Vincent in this film. And Vincent is kind of our main, our main villain.
Yeah, he's got two different colored eyes, which really makes up most of his character. Really, I'd say that pretty much defines his entire character. Actually,
That's pretty much where it ends. He
that's
has
all we
blonde
know
hair,
about
and
him.
I think it works for him. Got that
That's it
Draco
overall.
Malfoy vibe going. I think that's a great characteristic for any villain.
100%.
Yeah, this guy also was a pretty successful actor in the great. From what we hear, actually, we haven't seen it. We know nothing about this shit. Band of Brothers, which from what we understand is a highly acclaimed TV series. And what do you do next? What do you do next after a great TV series like that? How do you kickstart your career even further?
Paul Blart, motherfucking Mall Cop
2. This is a film that not only brings together the best and the best of Hollywood, but it's a family film for all kinds of families.
100%.
Families
yeah.
of fish, families of snails. You bring in the best of the kingdom and you're good to go.
Dude, it really caters to the animal kingdom with this one.
But besides great villain characters and great characters throughout this movie, obviously it's honestly a well-constructed, I would say, art piece at this point. I would say that's an accurate description. But the man who steals the show is our boy Vic DiBietto, better known as Vic, better known as in this movie, Gino Chizetti. And this guy is a YouTube star who's known from building great sheds.
Oh, dude, 100%. This guy's actually a little bit, he's quirky, he's funny, he's interesting. He provides a new sense of entertainment for a lot of people looking for that sort of thing on YouTube these days. And I think what he does is pretty interesting. And though this movie is the greatest movie of all time, it's almost a little overrated for him to jump into this movie right away. I'd say this is a fantastic move in his career, man. Good, bad, under the sun.
Well, he's only
it just
going up.
means he's really taken a step in his career. I think that's pretty good. So shout out to our boy Vic.
He's only going up. Straight up.
only going up.
Quick shocker bra to Vic. Shocker bra, dude.
Shocker, bro.
I don't think you can go any higher, though, than Paul Blart Mall Cop 2. If you get a chance to be part of a film like this, where do you move on from that? How do you...
Paul Blart Mall Cop 3 would be the only natural progression.
Man, don't get me too excited. I don't know if I can even handle a film like that. Looking into a third film...
Well, hear me out. What about Jack and Jill 2? You think there's a place for a boy Vic on the cast?
I would say absolutely.
Wow.
Because that's a movie that really transcends time, thankfully.
And you're absolutely right. And it really finds a way to include so many different
can we imagine
character types, varieties, and really, really drive home the story.
It's only a matter of time before Happy Medicine production films start crossing over. Can we expect a Paul Blart and Jack and Jill crossover in the near future? Or would that just be too much for the world to handle?
I think, Kyle, you know what? Maybe we should leave the world with these predictions.
This has been our concise and in-depth review on Paul Blart Mall Cop 2. I hope you guys had a great time listening to us. Be sure to check us out on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, all the social medias. Subscribe on iTunes. Give us a 5-star rating if you thought this was a great episode. Even if you didn't, just give us a rating, because at the end of the day, we'll have a better rating than Paul Blart Mall Cop 2 will on Rotten Tomatoes. So,
really appreciate that, guys. Thanks for tuning in. My name's Dan.
I'm Kyle.
Shaka bra.